Well, welcome back to Dispatch Radio, brought to you by theglobaldispatch.com. And now we get to turn our attention a little bit towards some lighter topics. That's right, we get to venture down some pop culture. We're going to talk some movies and some different things. We get to talk about an independent film not many of us have heard about. It's called Monday at 11:01 a.m., and we have the creator on with us, Charles Agron. Charles, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well down in Southern California, away from the cold. Very excited about that. So I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Well, we can share that in common as well. We were broadcasting live out of the Tampa Bay area, but if you're listening live and you were shoveling snow, move to Florida, move to California. Just saying. Charles has a great film, and some great people on with you. You got Brianna Evigan from the Step Up 2 film, the sequel there. Lance Henriksen, what people might know from Aliens. Some other folks. Lauren Shaw, I think, was in Zero Dark 30. So, Charles, tell everybody a little bit about the film, if you would.
Sure. Monday at 11:01 a.m. Is sort of my homage to some of the great older filmmakers, in my opinion. I was greatly influenced growing up by the Twilight Zone films and Stephen King and The Shining, and how Kubrick did a masterful job with that. And Monday at 11:01 a.m. is about a man who takes his girlfriend to a resort town. Now, that town is hustling, bustling, everybody's enjoying themselves. And something happens that night that makes them want to leave town the next day. And mysteriously, overnight, something happened in the one tunnel in and out of the town that will prevent them from leaving. Mysteriously, although that this accident has happened, there's noticeably a lot less people in the town. That evening, something else happens that makes the lead character, Michael, nervous and wanting to leave town again. But the next day when he wakes up, he's the last person in that town other than the people that work in the hotel. So the question becomes, is Michael going crazy, or are the people after him at the hotel?
It definitely has that whole Stephen King Shining feel about it, or sound about it, that's for sure.
Well, without question, I mean, that movie was so important to me growing up. Little things like watching little Danny play in the in the living room or in the hallway, and at one point I remember for the rest of my life, there was a ball rolls into the room, and it's simply a ball rolling into the room, but at that point it was the scariest thing I had ever seen. And as a filmmaker, I really want to capture such a latent little thing happening, but yet it being so scary. I thought it was masterful, and I could only hope to be that good one day.
When you put this together, you filmed in Oklahoma, and like I mentioned, the cast a little bit. Tell everybody a little bit about, what did you look for when you were piecing the cast together?
Oh gosh, when I was putting, the funny thing is when I put a cast together, I like the characters to kind of be similar to how the people are in real life. And Brianna Evigan plays a character named Olivia. And Olivia is, she's a ballerina. She's beautiful, and she's a temptress in some ways. And Brianna, she's an outstanding actress. She has the dance background. Certainly a beautiful woman, and fit the role perfectly. And then, for instance, Lance Henriksen, and of course, Lance has been in something like 200 movies. He plays the character of the bartender, and the bartender is a very mysterious, sort of omniscient character who knows everything about this little town. He knows all the good and all the bad, and sometimes he can be your best friend, and sometimes he can turn on you. And Lance is such an incredible actor that he certainly knows what to bring in terms of a character that has those needs.
Would you say that you're kind of a real on-hands director? I mean, how do you approach balancing being in front of the camera and directing at the same time?
Well, I actually wrote, produced, and acted. The film was directed by Harvey Lowry.
Okay.
But I certainly am hands-on because I'm involved in all aspects of it. In terms of the writing aspect and picking the locations, very hands-on. But when it comes to being on the other side of the camera, you kind of have to just trust the people that you put in for their jobs to kind of lead you correctly. And I think Harvey did a great job. But it certainly is a balance to be for the day in front of the camera and part of the day being behind it.
It is an indie film. We're talking with Charles Agron about it Monday at 11:01 a.m. It's an interesting thriller that was filmed out in Oklahoma. It's indie. Charles, whenever you do something like this, do you got some words of advice for other indie filmmakers and people that are, maybe they've done a little bit of work, maybe it's mostly in their local areas, that kind of thing. You got some words of advice that you'd share with folks?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, it can be a very difficult business in that so many people want to achieve certain things. And my state of mind is that I'm never worried about any accolades or doing anything, getting any type of awards or becoming famous. I believe in making a strong product. And I think if you make a good picture, good film, or good work that people can appreciate, everything will fall into place. And I think that, if you stick to that real blue-collar, attitude, cross your T's, dot your I's, do the research when creating, I think good things can happen. And the other thing that's very important is that continually you will have to deal with naysayers. And really, you just have to block those people out, because those people, they're not trying to serve your best interest. They're just trying to maybe dissuade issues that they're having. So really, just keep a positive attitude, stick to know what you're good at doing, and then make it happen, and it will.
I want to switch gears a little bit and talk more about you as a personal creator and that kind of thing. I know you wrote and produced Dark House, and you've starred in front of the camera. You've been producing, writing, that kind of thing. How do you draw your inspiration when you sit down? How do you sort of kind of piece things together as a writer, and then also as a producer and as a creator?
Oh, it's interesting, man. That's an interesting question. It's funny because in terms of writing, it's funny because I don't scare easily, I don't cry easily, I don't laugh easily. And so when I see particular artists that make those things happen to me, those are the people that I really, study their work and try to understand how they do it. And another interesting thing that affects me actually is music. And so sometimes when I start to sprout ideas, sometimes a song will actually push me into a different direction of art. And it's kind of an unusual way, but really it's those kind of elements that come together that help me to write. Now, in terms of producing, it becomes a very different element because I have to deal with the finance aspect. You'd have to do the location search. Got to make sure all the budgetary aspects are taken care of. The real artistic part of producing, I feel like, is finding the actors who will make those characters come to life. But it certainly is an aspect, because when you've got one eye on creating the best script and then another eye on maintaining a budget, once again, it does become a balancing act.
One thing that I've noticed, and speaking with a lot of actors in particular, is there's a lot of movement towards doing a lot of video auditions and things like that. Do you find that is something that you've actually kind of embraced, or is that still something that you think it may not be your thing, or is that mostly you think because of budgetary constraints?
In terms of, and I'm sorry, you said because that's with regards to video auditions?
Yeah, doing a lot of video auditions and things like that, yeah. Well,
it's interesting because I notice a lot of people doing that. I don't personally know how successful they are at that, but I know at all levels and at all levels of talent and all levels of accolades, I notice that going on. For me, I focus in on the writing and creating the art. Although I love acting, I think it's just one piece of what I do, of the whole. So at this point, I've really been pushing myself to kind of create characters in my own films that I can broaden and bring color to. I've recently been pushed to expand on my acting because I do enjoy doing it. But like I said, at this point, it's just been a facet. So I have seen a lot of people continue to do that. I guess that I don't have enough experience in doing it myself to let you know how successful it is.
Well, as you're getting ready to kind of at least transition into a different phase with Monday at 11:01 a.m., is there a certain aspect of the film or the production or anything like that you're going to hang your hat on and as a big learning experience or something that you can really take from this that you think is going to carry with you for the years to come?
Well, to be honest with you, every day is a learning experience. It's funny is that making a film is a lot of hard work, and it could be. There's nothing out there, in my opinion, that's more rewarding. But every day from from the day I first pick up a pen and paper and start writing ideas to when you start writing the script, you're continually making adjustments. And I like to always be considering the viewers and the people interested in how they will receive my art, and then dealing with the business side of it. Different people require different things in terms of, what they want in making a financial investment. And people have different personalities. And that's even before you get to a location. And once you start picking locations, you have to start putting crews together and start making sure that everybody gets along and that their accommodations are correct for their jobs. And then, from there you have to look into casting and seeing who's right for the role and availability. Once production begins, I mean that is a lot of hard work. Those are long days. I probably work 16 or 18 hours a day during production, especially since I'm on both sides. And you have to deal with elements like making sure you get sleep, that that you're eating right, and things like that, things that you would never ever think on a day-to-day basis could be so trying. And then, or another thing is having to work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. one day, and then immediately you're working 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next day you're shooting. So every day you're on set, it's a learning experience. And then the marketing of the film. Every film is just so much, and then every little thing you pick up, you certainly roll into the next one because everything goes smoother. Dealing with the financing goes smoother. Production, you know little tricks of the trade that will make scheduling easier. You learn better ways to market. So pretty much every day you have to be ready to learn something new.
Charles Agron, folks, talking about Monday at 11:01 a.m., a new Indy film that we'll link to, try to get you caught up on some of the trailer information, synopsis, that kind of stuff. You can catch that, get a lot more information on your own, and it's been really a great talk to be able to find out more, not only about the film, but also Charles himself, insight in the business, how things run, how things operate, and how this thriller inspired so much by his own, personal affections for Stanley Kubrick's work and things like that to bring the thriller and horror genre to life in 2015. It's been a very exciting time, and it's great that we got a chance to talk and be able to share that with folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for talking with me. I appreciate it.